Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Dover Select Board Special Meeting to order at 4 p.m. on Thursday, January 4th, 2024. This is a special meeting for budget. So we're going to talk about general budget review. Marco should be back.
I hope so.
Okay. You guys. They don't.
I can email this to them now, but.
Well, Dan's gonna be here in a few minutes. Maybe to Scott. Scott, there's another revised budget that I guess has some fire department reductions in payroll. So Jeanette will send that to you now so you can look at that while we're talking.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. I hear a lot of doors. I'm just waiting to see if there's other people coming.
I made the change,
Okay.
but I think we can. How do we use this copy? Is that possible to make some?
We're in, yeah, we were already
Two
called meeting
copies?
to order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we have a quorum.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
There's Joe. We have it all.
Yeah,
It's open,
awesome.
I know, I'm getting email.
okay, you can still attach it.
Oh, that's really good.
Hold on.
Well, hello, Marco. Hi, Travis. How's Travis today?
How are you, Senator Rough?
Under the feather, weather, whatever it's called. Hi, Chief. Sir. He's here. You get to drive the new vehicle now, too. I'll wait until it gets out. What's that?
Only till it's tricked out.
Oh, until it's all tricked out?
Yeah.
Who's gonna get it once it's all tricked out? Let me see. Oh.
I don't know. Dover, do you? You live in Dover? No. Okay, so Dan's driving. He should be here in probably about 5 minutes. But Scott's on Zoom.
Yeah, sorry, for them, because I just, think that has to be made. Yeah,
Just,
for them, yeah, yes,
can you just give them to me?
okay, yes.
Okay, all right, now we're in the middle of a meeting,
Okay.
everybody, okay?
Sorry.
All right, so I just told Scott, because he's on Zoom, that the fire department came in with some reductions in payroll. So that has been incorporated, and that just happened like an hour ago. So that the payroll in the fire department is down. So we have a new budget, which we're working with. Down this way. Okay,
Okay.
all right,
Last minute envelope.
and Jeanette's giving me one more document.
Travis, you're not gonna be down with your budget? No budget
So-
down here?
Why doesn't Travis had some changes to capital equipment and paving. Why don't we start with that while we're still in a.
Sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I just gone through and done what you had mentioned about the refurbishment of the 2015 and getting that listed in there, and the purchase of the CV International put in there.
Okay, so that's what I saw in the.
Yep.
Yep,
That's all that we need. I mean, the funding amount is the same.
okay,
It's just divvied up, as you can see.
and I appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay. And so then, Pat, I see, did you go out another year?
I went out 2 more years on the paving.
Okay,
Yeah, so the only change had to make to this coming year's paving is I added South Access Road. I was gonna try to hold off because of the Snow Lake Dam removal. But they won't even break ground at earliest 2027, and that road's just.
What?
It's not gonna make it.
They're not, they're not.
Why is it taking that long?
Yeah, so once I found that out, cause I went to a Snow Lake meeting, once I found that out, I was like, well, you know, that road's not gonna make it another 3-4 years, so. We need to, you know, while we're there this summer,
Yeah,
we'll put an inch on it and be done with it. It's like 15,000 total to do that.
2027?
Yeah,
I think I think that's aggressive, actually.
I do too, so that's why.
I think
we
it's
should-
more like-
We should put something on.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, they're just getting the scoping done. That doesn't mean that there's any, those are, and the cost of the project is enormous. And I think that there's no huge urgency.
Yeah.
From their end,
Yes,
right.
financially. Yeah. So
So
there,
I had held off on putting that in, but after going to that meeting and realizing, I think we should just do it right there.
And
So
how do you think that is that gonna last
That'll-
4 or 5 years?
Yeah, it should.
so,
But
okay,
so then I went out, you guys had mentioned about finding some of the problem roads that I'd like to get taken care of on, over here in West Boulder, as far as, you know, new pavement. And then, so that's what I looked at in 25, 26 and 26, 27. You'll also see that Blue Brook started this year for the next 3 years is, you know, completion all the way through 26, 27.
All the way to the Route 100.
you're the,
So this year we'll go half, 0.6 miles, next year it's 0.7, which will complete it to a meek. So then the salt cut truck could just make the loop, and then the following year, all the way through 100.
So by the end of 27, the 27
Yeah.
fiscal year, all of Blue Brook Road will be paved.
Yep, yep.
Mhm.
And then, I found some of the other ones I added to the list, Jones Ridge, I've had an enormous amount of interest, Jeanette can attest to that.
Mhm.
People calling about leaving that.
And Stuber, I see.
And, yeah, and Stuber Road, you know, those are easy, short ones that,
Yeah, loop them in the truck and.
yeah, once they're done, we don't have to
Last
worry,
a
we
while.
won't have to worry about them. And like, Sunday Road, that's only 700 feet long, so, you know, that's.
Stuber Road is the stump jumpers treat that as a trail now, they call it a trail.
On that one side from the power station down.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I can get the width in there and they can run on the shoulder. I'm
Okay.
not too concerned, cause that end of it,
Well,
that
plus
comes
that's
in the
not,
south entrance of the firehouse,
Yeah,
that all the way up to the power station where their trail is, that's pretty wide up through there. My road is actually, when they pave it, 22 feet, it's gonna be narrow within the dirt that's there.
Yeah.
gotcha.
So I.
plus that's 2 more fiscal years out, so there's
Right.
plenty of time to
Correct.
plan.
Yeah,
Right, I just wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had.
Since he
big-
mentioned it last 2
Yeah.
nights ago, I didn't.
Okay,
And Alpine Loop I added in, and, you know. So that's what I have in 3 years.
here's another one, that I brought. This one's in there. Okay,
Mine doesn't.
wanna look at this, Joe?
Not really, but yeah.
You'll notice the total length of the footages are done, but the tons are the same, that's because it's new, so we need to put the base and then the top, so
Okay,
that's the reason for the number difference.
Which I knew was pavement places.
so did we, I wish I knew what the price of everything was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Heat, oil,
Everything, yeah.
diesel,
I'm
gas.
thinking right now pavement. I was worried about everything else, but you don't have to spoil it.
All right, anybody have any questions about the changes on the capital equipment or capital paving?
Nope.
Thank you. All right. Anything else, Travis?
So I had figured 105 per ton, but that's, we've been getting it for 92
Okay, so,
around there, so there's some fluff there, just so you know.
okay,
No, that's it.
okay. All right, so anything with capital building that we should discuss? Is there any changes to this?
I did not make any changes to the Capitol building, no,
Do not,
just what we had discussed before.
Richard did, came in earlier.
okay, so I don't know, I have so many copies.
I know.
I'm so confused. Oh,
We changed, the firehouse for 24-25 to 15,000. And to just tackle the mold issues.
I don't know. Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure, okay, this is the old one. This one was printed at 303. This has got to be the most recent.
Yeah.
And then we moved like the furnace flooring and it had siding originally for 25-26, but he thinks we can get away with paint rather than siding.
Mhm.
So we put in 50,000 for that. I think originally it was 90,000. So we dropped that down. So the thing is, I just kept adjusting the taxes raised amount to get it to a positive, but I don't know, it doesn't, at 120, it's a positive thing. If it drops down to 110, it's a negative.
Oh, well, then this is the more recent one. So that taxes raised should be the 120. I have, as it's,
So that's what I put in there.
okay,
So,
that's okay, because it was 150 on this one. So,
Right.
okay,
So
that one's
we
the
were
old
able
one.
to take it down.
Okay.
So that's positive this year, but it looked,
It's
is it negative next year?
Next year.
Okay.
For 25-26, unless we fund more. So we're going up 40,000 potentially in the capital building fund. Okay. Questions on the capital? Did you get this, Scott?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions on the capital building plan? Okay. All right, sounds like we have worked through those. Now let's jump to the general budget. So at last meeting, I asked Jeanette and Marco to look at what it would be to put 4% raises in for admin, which they have done on your current budget that was handed out. Didn't everybody get one of these?
Could have circulated. Jeanette, did you have copies of that, the 4% one? The one that was emailed yesterday.
There was one copy on the table.
I probably. I'm losing my mind with all of these.
So the one that you emailed to us,
That Jeanette emailed.
Jeanette emailed out.
Yesterday afternoon.
But then there's changes to the fire department. so-
Correct. And then, yes, changes to the fire department, which
So would
The one
does
I
every,
gave you should- that
Just
was
me,
copied. Yeah. sorry.
we need more.
There was an email at 4:03
Look on my phone.
that has the budget in it.
Oh. So there was. The budget was changed again about 3 o'clock this afternoon when Rich came in.
Yes.
So I don't think everybody in this room has that sort of current budget.
No.
For next year, we need to time and date stamp all of these budget drafts. It's starting to become, I think, I have so many of them.
Yeah.
So we,
It's hard
you know,
to keep track.
Oh,
of
when
which is-
department heads start coming in.
well, that's,
Day
Well,
of.
that's why
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
put the time and day stamp
Yeah, but
on it.
also like for us,
I
we
know.
need a cutoff, like,
So-
we can't keep.
No.
running.
Their
Oh,
fault.
agreed.
Yeah,
it's
changes.
not your fault.
The guy that's
Yeah.
here isn't here
Yeah.
to yell at,
Right.
right, looking at, giving it 3 o'clock.
Okay,
You have
all
plenty
right,
of
all right,
time to look at it.
all right, so just know, I know it's
Sure.
annoying and we will reiterate, budgets have to
That's
be
easy.
done in a certain time.
Timestamps are easy.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So Jeanette, there's an email that you sent a little after 4 today, that's the most current.
I mean, that's.
Or yesterday.
I have new budget 4:03 PM.
Today.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what, because I sent it to Scott. You get that.
You get Scott, so you have it.
Okay,
So
cool.
you have it, yes, sorry.
And then Joe and Dan,
So.
I got, Marcus sent me the information on Travis and his budget.
Because.
yeah, but there was changes like an hour ago.
You know, because of that.
Okay, so could we get 2 more copies of the,
So 407.
Yes.
You could just email me, I got it on my phone. You don't have to make a lot more.
Do you want me to forward it to you?
Yeah, I can, or Sarah is in my, we can forward it, 'cause you have the same email.
Bill, want it?
Yeah, no, do my,
That's-
Zoho,
this is the regular
like,
budget.
for the number 5,
SB5?
thank you.
So the budget you should have a total of 4,705,000, is that 4,400 bottom line?
The one that was printed yesterday,
No. That's the one,
I have,
yes, yesterday's was 4,719,000.
yeah, and then Rich came in. with
So
the
this is
sheet.
the budget everybody should be working with has a bottom of 4,705,492.
705,
705.
I just read
I have
it.
4742.
Okay, I've got that one too. See, this is.
That's the one I have.
Change you just asked me to make,
No,
yeah,
that's this one. Did you staple it?
no, because I made.
These are the ones I brought. Okay, oh my god. Okay,
So I have 4719, is that?
I have one that says that too.
Yeah, that's with the,
That's the one I have.
That's for 20.
Oh, that's the one you had.
That's what
Okay.
I just sent him now. That's
Okay.
it.
I have, what's 4752?
Oh,
4752.
For the, oh, wait, you want
the bottom line,
total operational or total?
total.
Total town and highway.
2425, I have a total of highway of 1792 and total town and highway of 4752. 05.
That, no, that's not without adjusted, right?
that's the original pre-firehouse changes.
Yeah,
Okay,
So Scott, you have the one that's 4719?
yeah. And so Sarah, you should have it too, because
Go
you have,
with that.
you have my email.
I don't have that one.
Oh, no, that's not the one that we should be working on right now. That is not the one.
Okay,
That's the one I asked Marco to make me a copy of.
okay, but I can,
Okay, all right, which is the 705. No. Ugh,
well, if you give me 1 second, I can. But Jeanette, you have to close out.
sorry about this, everybody.
You close out, I can open up and make the change. Okay.
All right.
So that's the sound of elevator music. Hang on.
the one I was just looking at, I should discard, that's not right.
Don't discard it.
So Vicky,
Basically, this one is a 5%.
Yes,
yes,
that's what I haven't even talked to about the
right,
board
but
about.
I'm gonna do one at 4% for admin.
Okay, the one I had earlier was for everybody,
No,
but except for the police department.
it was, that one was 1 plus 3 for the highway. 4% for admin and $1 plus 3 for the highway.
Okay, could you do? Could you do 4 for everybody
Mhm.
except the police department, including the highway, and 5% for everybody. Including the highway, including their dollar. And that's the one. That is 4719484. So I've asked Marco over the course of the week to do a couple of iterations of the budget, just so that we would have numbers. The payroll. Last year. Police department got hefty raise, higher than anybody, any other. Highway was second, admin was the bottom. So this year, in an effort to try to catch it all up, we thought maybe 5% for everybody, plus the dollar for the highway. So I wanted to see how bad those numbers looked, because I couldn't guess about that. So with this particular budget, it's an overall increase of 6%. If you go with the 5% for everything, plus the dollar for the highway. And the difference. Let's see, now I'm comparing, is about $14,000. That's it. If we give everybody, so everybody gets 5% and the highway gets an extra $1. So that was what I was trying to get to find out how much that would be if it was a lot. It isn't a lot, but I think for morale and for overall just
Recognition.
fairness, I would like to advocate for that. And I don't usually advocate for higher raises, but I really think it's a fair thing to do, to give everybody 5% plus the dollar for the highway.
Yeah.
And it makes it easy. We can remember what we did. Everybody is valuable.
Well,
So,
what we're saying is we're maxing it at 5%. The individual department heads can decide somebody
Correct.
may not be eligible for that level.
right, but you'll have that amount of funding.
Right,
Obviously, people who are called out individually on this,
Right.
it's up to the select board.
right.
But I don't know how everybody feels about that. That was just an idea I had to,
So
yes,
the 14,000 is the difference between 5% plus $1 and what level? 4%?
On that.
An ad.
on it.
So it's, yeah, I mean, what does that represent on the tax rate? $14,000.
0.01 is, can't even do the math in my head now, but for every, was it 100,000 is a penny,
Okay,
right?
so it's
Yeah.
like a 1/12 of a penny.
Yeah,
Or
So-
thereabouts. Okay,
So that was just, that's where this kind of got really complicated because I couldn't figure out
yeah,
which one we were working with, but that was an idea. It's up to the board to make this decision. It was just an idea. Because we had individual people asking for 5%. And I thought it was cleaner this way, and it shows recognition to everybody.
do we need to vote to agree on this, or can we just?
We would vote on, we voice your concerns, voice your, what-
I think it's very reasonable, given the inflation that we've had over the last few years, and it's slowing down now. But the raises didn't keep up with that over 21, 22. So I think that, and if it was $100,000, $200,000, I might feel differently about it, but $14,000 seems like a very reasonable thing to bring to the voters. And recognize the work that people have put in for our town.
Yeah, I
That's
think
my
there's
opinion.
Scott.
I also think, that's 14,000, that everyone is well deserving of that, no doubt. I think we have a great staff all around. Just, can you remind me, how much was how much did health insurance and all of that go up? What was the percentage this year?
Insurance go up, percentage wise.
14% on the health.
14%, that's what I thought.
Well,
So I mean, I'm just
14%.
saying, like, no, I'm not saying we don't
Large
need the
increase.
5% and everything. It's just like I just wanted to make sure that's all known. That also went up 14%, which we're footing the bill for too.
Those ones can go next year.
Just want that to be known too.
Thank you.
What percentage of the pay is insurance?
What?
what percentage of insurance?
What does insurance cost represent as a total percentage of the payroll?
So it depends on the percentage to an employee.
For the, like, if you took the total payroll, is this what you're asking, Dan? If you took the total payroll and the total cost of insurance, how much? What insurance represents what percent relative to payroll?
I would say it's probably between 30% and 40%. You
Can-
took
You have
all,
to do it, right.
you took
Right.
all payroll. You took what payroll is and what the town pays for insurance. I bet you it's between 30% to 40%, maybe even higher.
Do you
When you think of all the
Employee
insurance
wage.
costs, the HSA
Yep.
and everything, yeah.
Yeah, if you thought about someone like
Yeah,
what,
it's like-
whatever you made for a salary, if you made 50,000 or 100,000 and just say nominally, you say you put 20,000 per person. So then it's either going to represent, 20% or 40%.
Premiums per.
Well, can I speak?
Yes, you may.
So. I think it looks like with the calendar premium and the HRA, that's about 750,000 with economic development. Without economic development, it's 660,000. You look at your town report. And you look at total salaries. Total salaries, it's like everybody's salaries, right? So like it's a little skewed.
Yeah.
You know,
Fire department.
Skewed. These questions are also helpful ahead of time, so we can do some funky math, but
I'm just
Yeah.
giving you,
it's 1.4 million total salaries.
30 to 40%.
And that's high because you have, people that aren't entitled to the insurance mixed into this, so. So that's, what did I say?
And then we have people who don't
660.
take the insurance.
Right, 660 and our total is. It's hard to tell, because like, what do you define as payroll? Raw salaries, do you define the fringe benefits, do you define, like FICA, Medicare, retirement, so.
Well,
Yeah.
if you took gross pay. Do a cum of gross pay for all the departments, and then a cum of the payout for health insurance and HRA.
Yeah, I
Just
can't do
as a
that right now.
comparative. No,
Yeah.
right, but
Yeah,
is that something that we can
yeah,
show to the voters on town meeting day if they want it?
sure, there's a lot of moving numbers that I'd have to
Yeah.
go fish for, so
Right.
just to make it accurate, it's something that is.
Yeah, no, I'm not asking
Yeah.
you to like.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
One select was.
Joe, so what do you think's fair?
Well,
The
It's
increase?
it's not about, it's not about what's fair. If it was fair, or if I thought that the taxpayers would pay it, I'd give everyone 10%. What Scott, I think, and Scott can say no, is that the increase in the health insurance is absorbed every year by the town. While other employees and other taxpayers, they absorb that within their increase within their salary. So that's all I'm saying. Do I not think that everyone deserves 5%? Yes. Is 14,000 not a lot of money? But every dollar counts, at the end of the year when we figure out the tax bill. So it's whatever, you keep increasing it, it's fine. I mean, I'm only a one person say of it. It's just that I believe that that our employees are well compensated and well taken care of on the benefit side, so. 4% or 5% is not gonna break the taxpayer. But we need to do the fiduciary responsibility and give the taxpayer the best, cost that they can get for their value, their staff members, so. It's just a lot of money that keeps going up with health insurance, and it's a lot. Our budget is gonna be high this year, a lot higher, so I mean, over the whole year. So I'm always, we haven't even looked at, I don't wanna jump ahead, but it really scares me about our fire department trucks that are there for so long. And we have that, $1.2 million truck. But someday it might need to be replaced, and that's gonna take everything under the, you know what I'm saying, so. You know, same thing you talked about, Vicky, last year, you know, oh, we haven't, been putting the money into the buildings because every year we think, oh, we'll wait until next year and keep pushing everything back and everything gets more expensive. And we haven't done some things that I believe we should have done to the buildings sooner than later. We keep pushing off to lower the tax rate. Now it's coming.
Well, and I
to-
appreciate
so-
that, Joe, but I didn't hear a lot of that stuff that we pushed off. I don't know what that stuff is.
I don't wanna.
So if you really strongly feel that way, please voice your concerns, obviously, you know.
Well, I'm just saying that, so anything, I'm gonna sit here and we need to put together a budget as close to what we can. We still don't know how the end of this year is gonna finish, we're still 6 months to the end. You know, knock on wood, it's been a nice winter. But not a nice winter
Till Saturday.
for the employees, right, or wrong, right, Travis?
Sarah,
So-
did you have something?
Is there any kind of funding for like the fire truck, for example?
Well, we fund it, we have it in the capital budget.
You mean
but I
like
mean,
a grants?
A grant.
No,
For us, not for this.
and certainly, you know, yes, it's some, we're gonna have to get a ladder truck, a new ladder truck at some point.
But again, I sit at this meeting. And all it is employees and select board members. The public's not here saying anything. We're the ones that are, we're on either side of it. I'd like to have some public comment on it, but there isn't.
That's what town meeting is.
Yeah, it's, but that we already put it in, so they usually just run with it, so.
They have the ability to change it. Sarah,
I just wanted to say regarding the idea of the raise is we're considering that larger amount for fairly unique reasons. Between the rate of inflation that happened over a few years and trying to get people somewhat caught up. So I think if it's presented as this is not a new normal, 5% is not the new normal. I mean,
But I'm not gonna disagree, you're trying to make a point to it, Sarah, I'm just saying. You know, what I said, I would love to present on the town meeting, a 4% raise and a 5% raise and let the taxpayer decide. In an article.
well, we can, because
Let
the
them
other,
decide.
well, the other thing is if somebody wants to move
That's
the
not how it works.
budget. Reducing it by 14% over, by 14,000 overall, then that would be reflected as a 4% raise. They can't
No.
vote on line items, but
Yeah,
they
you
can. oh,
they can make a no, they can't vote on line items,
Right.
but they can say, I would like to do this for this reason if they want to. But, you know, we have more than ever getting cut, we get people who want to add things to push things up. I mean, I know here, at this point, asking for, if we have done our homework, are able to speak and explain the budget. I don't think that people have a big problem with it. Sometimes, and I've been in town meetings where we've increased the capital paving budget by $100,000. And what are we gonna do with it? We don't really know if we're gonna use it, but we're gonna do it. So, and everybody remembers when Deerfield Valley Rescue was raised, like, out of the blue. I haven't seen a whole lot of cuts, and so I think that it behooves us to know what we're talking about, being able to defend what we've got in there. If they wanna change it, it's up to them, but it all comes back to if we've got our act together, and sometimes I don't think we always do.
We have our act together, well, I think we have our act together more than the state, because we don't know what the state's gonna do. So,
Yeah, but the state's not the one standing up and
we're deciding on the
Pending.
budget before what the state's gonna decide, that's gonna be the one that's gonna scare everyone. For this upcoming year for the school side of things, probably. Which is gonna increase, but those will lose.
okay. Are you done? I mean, these are all,
Me at the meeting, I'm gonna speak
these are all things that we all have been annoyed and brought a lot of angst to a lot of people for a long time, but this is how the budget process works. So we have to come up with something. So,
That's our job.
all right. Yes, I'm sorry, Scott.
Well, we're kind of moved past it now, but I just wanted to say my thing before, with recognizing the increase of, healthcare and everything. I'm not saying we shouldn't do the 5%. If we're debating 4% or 5%, I think just, especially the way Sarah is phrasing it, doesn't have to be the norm, whatever, but 5%, let's give it to our employees. I think that $14,000 well spent on keeping them happier and giving them a better raise. I just wanted to also acknowledge that it's not just that we're giving them 5%. It's probably more like 7.5% or 8%, or maybe even actually more than 8%, really, when you think about the total of those costs and everything. That was my point with that. Sorry, we can move on though.
Thank you.
He's giving you permission to move on.
I was gonna move on and say, do we wanna go through the budget again, line by line, or does anybody have any questions about any other items? Maybe Marco, could you explain what Rich did with his payroll to everybody?
Yes, I can.
Thank
So
you.
we looked at, the current, where we're at currently with payroll, and he's about 50 or 60% of the way there. So what we did is we doubled where we're actually at year to date right now,
Mhm.
and added about 10%. And that came out to about $100,000 in total.
Mhm.
So I whittled it down as best I could to 100,000, and I landed at about 111. Okay, so that's what you see, because there were just certain items that we didn't want to cut ourselves short, for the sake of getting to 100, so I think we landed at about one. We landed at 111 for payroll only,
111, 362.
362, correct. And this is sort of a transitional year for the fire department because they decided to break out in much greater detail all the different.
That's why the budget
payroll
looks
line
very
items.
odd,
Right,
because you have a
so
lot of
we'll
blanks.
see what that looks like.
So is payroll broken out by their?
By categories.
So is the training included in their payroll? Is training
Correct.
separated out?
It's separated out by type of training and
Okay.
type of you have regular drills, online training, outside classes.
So that $111,000 doesn't include training or does it?
It does, yeah, that's everything, taxes, everything.
But he had a total of 157,972. So that's significant.
What did he actually spend in the fiscal year? Payroll 2000.
21, 22?
Whatever, 30. What did he
The
actually-
actual last year. Yeah,
Not 22, 23, it was 96,346. Actual.
I'm just making sure we're not selling ourselves.
No,
I think,
correct, yeah,
It just depends on what you have for calls. We just had,
yeah.
we just had 2 helicopters the last 2 days, and that's a lot of payroll right there, those helicopters.
Up at North Snow.
we pay for the helicopters?
You paid for the staff that are standing around.
You're right, of course, yes. I don't think, I just didn't,
There's just 2 in a row. It's pretty costly.
yeah.
New Year's Eve down the hill from my house. So we hit the phone pole. They were down there for hours.
The phone what?
The
telephone
telephone pole got cracked. Somebody hit it hard enough to break it.
That wasn't a
Right?
helicopter.
Were you there or did you have?
That was New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that was New Year's Eve.
Oh, here?
Yeah, I woke up at like 3 in the morning and they were out there, lights and everything's going, and they were there until 5 or 6 in the morning, and then GMP was there all day, putting in a new telephone pole.
It doesn't cost us anything.
Well,
Our payroll.
our payroll for the fire department, there were 2
Oh, they were
trucks
there
down
all
there.
day?
No, they weren't there all day, but they were there most of the beginning of January 1st, they were there
Oh,
for hours.
right. January 1st, so we'll see what January comes up, starting the year then.
January's puppy.
I do have,
But
Any-
can I ask a question? I'm talking about payroll. So Mike, are we on track now to start getting paid for false calls?
For the alarms?
Yes.
July first,
No, that's gotta go through, you guys have to warrant that and everything.
right, yeah,
Because we've been not getting anything for nothing for years, which.
The plan is to have that at the beginning of the next fiscal
Right.
year.
that's what, when Mike presented it, he said July first.
So that'd be good, so we might actually get a little revenue against the.
The
cost.
fire department's doing the same thing.
Or less costs for fiscal year 2023-24. And people are held accountable.
The only other thing I had was, under the library, we need to write warrant, and that's this is their final. And we
Correct,
haven't
yes.
actually seen their budget.
Did you not get a copy? They submitted it just recently. We have it.
Okay, so that needs to say warrant article. In that little footnote area.
You know, just not for the library situation, you know, and how much. They need, I know they submitted a budget, it's also. In all honesty, when Jody's looking at it and the board, it's about the insurance. You know, they know what the payroll is, but they don't know. The insurance or who the employees are and da da da, so they're doing it, you know, figuring that out, so hopefully that. Comes in, and there's obviously other things that are going on up there that's gonna create possible extra expenses, so. We need to be aware of that too, that should be coming out.
We have some help from the LCT on that, or?
Yes.
They're working on it, but still, it's gonna be still a cost to the taxpayers. Actually.
Well, I assume that would be public
And-
as well in the town report, so.
It will be, yeah, we have copy for you.
So she did put in, well, how much she has,
It's
what is it?
243,742. It's up 2%. They're submitting their reports regularly now. We get a balance sheet, an income statement, got more.
No, so
So they've been in communications,
No way,
very
huh?
nice. We have-
no, when
More accountability?
the person who's taking care of that is someone who brought in specifically for accountability, so yeah, it's gonna be.
So, Marco, do you
Yes.
feel that? This is the end of the tweaking of the budget for department heads, this is it, right? I mean,
I
we
think
don't
so.
have it on here to actually approve, but.
I think so. If I just ask for a little clarification before, Sarah, when you were saying that, it's up to the department had up to 5% to spend or?
Well, the raises that are given to the employees within the department are not up to the select board.
Right,
The department heads award that, so if they feel that somebody doesn't warrant a 5% raise.
oh, right,
They
okay,
have the power to not provide that.
okay,
And the select
Right.
board likewise, when we review the people who we review. We have a budget for up to
Understood.
5, right,
okay.
that's all I was.
And I asked because of that, the dollar plus the percentage for the highway that is more than 5%.
Right.
Okay.
Right, no, but.
Right.
Well, that's how we've always done it at the reviews for the next year going.
And I'm not picking on highway, yeah,
No, but.
That we give a pool of 5%, so if we give 5% and Travis thought someone should get 3 and wants to give 7. That's his department, that he should be able to decide to do that.
Right.
He could be the hard one to
Right.
decide.
And
Or
Mike,
We don't want
Mike can do the
same
same.
Please.
It's hard when it's, and we can say,
When it's
Jeanette,
published.
you're doing a horrible job, we're not giving you any raise whatsoever.
Alright.
For example.
We could say that.
But we would never say that, but.
We could say that.
But we can say, we can say.
Try.
We could say it on April 1st.
But, you know, that's,
Pick on somebody.
that's, so for department heads, we have that flexibility. And for the department heads, they have it within their department.
so we looking at the one that's a total of 4719,
Yes.
484.
Yes.
Can somebody send me that one or print me that one?
Yep.
I don't have it.
Me too.
Sure,
Well, and that was because I wanted to look at it before everybody else had a chance to look at it, to see if it
Even
seem
us.
like a viable thing to do.
Okay.
That's the library.
Yeah, so what I'm,
Too much
can
work.
we,
Too
once,
much
once we're
change
done
and stuff.
here,
For one person. it
Can we
comes to
generate-
last. And it's always the same person for the last minute. You can put that in the minutes.
no, you
Same
did, you
person
should put it
comes
down.
last minute. Name is Richard.
I picked it up
Warren
twice, I'm
Gibbs.
sorry.
Okay.
Well, what I'm saying, when we have what we've all decided on, can we date and timestamp that
We'll
one?
start
And
timestamping
sending
this
it out,
as we go, yep,
so that we're then, because I'm coming to.
yep.
Okay. What else do we want to talk about on the budget? Yes, Jeanette,
So I was gonna put it on for the next agenda on the 16th.
does that work for,
The budget.
Don't we have to for the book?
Oh, we do.
We do.
Yes, that's right.
We have no
But-
choice.
it's supposed to be done, I thought, by the 12th, but
Well, the reports are supposed to be in Reddit, but we don't need much money to have another special meeting.
No.
no. I mean, at this
Okay.
point, I would discourage department heads from any additional changes. Because we can't continue to meet and go over more changes.
Costs too much
But-
money.
If I
Yes,
may,
Has to take it away.
I know there were some last minute changes, but they turned out
To save us money?
yes, and I.
very good, and we had more, the discussion around the changes brought about some more,
That's good.
looking at other things, you know, with a closer eye, I think both with Rich and Travis, you know, so
Okay,
as much of a pain in the neck as it was, I think.
right, and it's a
We all
pain for
learned
you too,
something,
yeah,
I feel bad because there's literally pieces of paper flying around everywhere.
Right, well,
yeah.
there's costs.
Yes, it does.
Also not your fault, Marco. Lots
No,
of.
Well, it's not your
We should
fault.
appreciate you doing all that and putting it
Don't like being
together. so.
disorganized.
No, I
That's
don't,
why
It
we
feels
have
very
a
uncomfortable.
little bit of expectation to have.
It's always sketchy when you have some at the list.
Okay.
Anyway.
We need to schedule fake meetings. Budgets in early.
so, no meeting on Monday, everybody got that news,
Yes.
no hearing on Monday.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't, you know, the two attorneys talk, why don't they come up with a date and give it to us, the date?
Yeah.
They should already be rescheduled.
Okay, well,
But that's besides,
it's,
I like the way they go. Oh,
I was in Germany anyway, so.
I mean, it's just
Okay.
gonna get harder and harder.
okay,
Get us all-
all right. So, are we good with this 5% of the board? I would like to take a straw poll.
I'm happy with it.
I
Yeah,
have,
that's fine.
Okay, and
But you're leaving it so that,
You're not against it.
I'm not against anything, it's just. It's that, so right now we're leaving it with the 5% and the dollar.
Plus a
yes,
dollar
for
per
the-
hundred.
For
yes.
the highway department.
And at this point, this is what will be, what we're gonna vote on the 16th. Yes, so,
Maybe put a big ad in the paper that it should come out. So either,
People feel like it's fine to wait until town meeting.
I just.
I mean, I agree with you, but I think that's people are like,
Yeah.
I'm coming to town meeting. That's when I'll ask my questions, that's when I'll get my information. And they are not necessarily recognizing that the formation of the budget is a better time to ask the question than once the budget's created. But
Is what it is.
you wanna
When
do
do
it,
we
you can write a
find-
letter to the
Well-
editor, Joe.
well, I was at that by town this morning and, Wilmington's budget is going up a lot too,
Really?
so.
when do we find out about the state?
Yeah, we still.
They,
July.
they, just looking at their numbers, they're expecting on the school's tax side. Like a minimum of 12 to 14%.
Well, again, here's deferred maintenance and everything like that. I mean, the state has not funded any school construction in the last 12 years, and so towns have put it on their backs to do their own, and a lot of them haven't been able to do it, and now it's come to the point they have to do it, or they got a huge problem, so.
The thing is, we're like the penalty box, so it's whatever percentage you'll have.
And we don't even know what that's gonna be, or what our CLA is gonna be, so. Anyway, all right, so I'm hearing nothing more. So I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 4:53 PM.
Thank you for your consideration. Thank you.
Yeah.
That says a lot.